How are you guys doing? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. In case my last video did not trigger you, I wanted to make this video about why we do not need, or the United States does not need, a military. And I got some really interesting comments in the last video, and I didn't respond to any of them. I will respond to some of them in this video at the end. So, wow, Ryan, how could you say that? You know, America does not need a military. They're gonna come in, you know, who's gonna protect you and your family? You don't appreciate your freedoms. Heard. Okay. All right, so starting there. Now, first I wanna say, for anyone that has signed up for the military in a pure act to protect people and fight for freedom, I think that's extremely admirable. Extremely admirable. I have two very important people in my life that fought in the military, actually fought in war. My grandparents, one of my grandfathers was a prisoner of war, and they both taught me a lot about the nature of the military, which leads a lot of things I'm going to talk about today. So I get a lot of that, but the fact is we do not need a military, and actually, in fact, the military makes us less safe. So, Ryan, you don't need a military. I wanted to make this video because when I was talking about the border is kind of, in a sense, a defense spend. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I'm gonna be there at 10:30. Sorry, it's one of my neighbors. So yes, the border is a line of defense, but this is more gonna go into further detail on how I mentioned in that video, our military makes us less safe. It makes people more likely to want to invade us. If you read the Wolfz Doctrine, written by Paul Wolfz of the Bush administration, he stated plain as day that we were attacked because of our military involvement in the Middle East. Our own government is telling us this. You know, we are meddling in the affairs of other countries causes us to get attacked. And so our military is not only not protecting us, it is making you less safe. Think about that. So the United States spends roughly $900 billion a year, and they make you less safe. $900 billion. We spend way more than every other country combined. So we can get into how much military you spend for. I'm saying the total way we do it, of course we have to do something to defend ourselves. And I'll talk about that. We do not need the military in the sense that we have it today. So having 900 military bases in 130 countries makes us less safe. We are imperialists in the way, and by occupying other countries, and we meddle in their affairs, and they are more likely to kill us and attack us because of that. That is just a fact. If you disagree with that, please let me know how I am wrong in the comment section. Next thing, mutually assured destruction. Mutually assured destruction. So since the advent of the atomic bomb and or nuclear weapons today, two foreign powers have not gone into combat with each other. So the fact that we have nuclear missiles has made us extremely safer. So the question is, how much does a nuclear missile cost? Well, it costs $85 million. Holy cow. We spend $900 billion a year on military. How could we ever come up with are people going to pay for a nuclear missile, $85 million? Well, think about it this way. There's 144 million homes in America. If 1/3 of them just gave $100, we could have, do the math, we could have 47 nuclear missiles. We could have one for almost every state in 1 year. If a third of the homes in America gave $100, you do not think people would want to protect themselves to make sure they have these proper missile systems? And just say, hey, we live by the Nonaggression Principle. If you use force against us, we are going to use our lethal force against you. They will not attack you. And saying, right, why people will not pay for that? Yes, if people really want to protect themselves, they will. If you look at World War II, Americans actually bought war bonds. They believed in the war. The Congress voted for the war. The country actually felt like it was a war worth fighting. People will pay for war worth fighting. They don't understand how war operates today, that Congress no longer has to, authorize war. It can be done by a dictator president, and his goons there. So there's very little representation. It's mainly done through inflation, so they tax the hell out of you, and they don't even have enough money through all the taxes that they print money without your consent and do it. If people actually believe and actually want it, they will pay to protect themselves. And they've proven it in the past. And you have locks on your doors? Do you have a security camera? Do you have a weapon in your home? Yeah, you'll pay to protect yourself. That's a silly notion. So yeah, we voluntarily can look for good resources for protection services. It doesn't even need to be all of us. If only a third of the people gave $100 one time, we could have 48 nuclear missiles and no one would attack us. That's just one example. Next, free trade. Free trade. There are huge statistical showings that if you are doing trade with people and goods are crossing borders, that bullets will not. You do trade and do business with people, they aren't going to blow you up. They want to do business so they can feed their families. So being active in the world and doing commerce and not being militants and occupiers, yeah, you're going to be a lot safer because of that. Do not need military for that. And if you guys think this is a crazy concept not to have a military, there are at least over 20 countries that do not have militaries, including countries like Iceland, Costa Rica, Panama. There are several countries out there that do not have militaries. The next one, reason why you do not need a military, if you look back at during World War II again, trying to remember the name of the Japanese general, Isaru Yamato, sorry if I can't get the name right, but he said we would never attack America because there is a gun behind every blade of grass in that country. And it is said that the Soviets also agreed with this. So we were not attacked or invaded because of that reason. Because we allow an armed population. And if we were attacked, you know, they can't kill all of us. And there's a lot of us here. So, yeah, that's a fact. You can look it up as well. Furthermore, yeah, this was a lot sparked by the military has now recently lowered their standards to look for people to join the military. You no longer need a high school degree or a GED. They'll take a score of a 50 on the hazmat. So one that's curious, why are they lowering their standards now to join the military? Are they looking for more possible militants, and they tend to prey on poorer people? What was that song that said, there's something about I'm no senator's son? It's typically the poor people that are low on options that will have to sign up to risk their life to get themselves going in the economy. That's a whole other conversation. So yeah, you do not need a military for that. So again, getting to the comments in my last video, Ryan, my people fought for this freedom. You don't get it. Yeah, like I said, my grandfather was a prisoner of war. And my other grandfather was actually very proud that he served, but he understood the scam that it was, that the military-industrial complex profited from everything. So therefore there would be perpetual war, not caring about freedom or your personal liberties, to care about the profits of war, corporatist profiteering. And yeah, my grandfather was, he actually got a Purple Heart for, there was a gentleman, when he was a prisoner of war in Ploesti, actually the Soviets, the Russians, bombed it, and they were able to get freed. They bombed the prison camp, and they all scattered out, and one guy was hit by an explosion that actually took a limb off him. So my grandfather and a couple other gentlemen ripped a door off the wall and put him on there and to try to save his life. Another explosion happened, and he woke up in a hospital days later and was honorably dispatched and given a Purple Heart, and he threw that shit in the fucking trash once he really understood the true nature of the military. So the military is not a force for good. It does not make you free. It makes you less free. And it's a $900 billion scam, and we could protect ourselves voluntarily without these government tyrants perpetuating war all over the planet. So yeah, so let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Again, I'm not advocating for not protecting ourselves. I'm advocating for weaponizing the population, for having strategic nuclear capabilities, and also we are sea to shining sea on the oceans that protect us, and we are neighbors with our friends to the north and south. We are in no imminent danger, but yet we are so fucking paranoid because how much we do around the globe that allow guns to be pointed at us. So if any of this is thought-provoking, if you liked any of it, give it a thumbs up. You can go ahead and also trash me down in the comment section if you disagree. I am sure there'll be some disagreements. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next one.